Home buying myths and flood zones. Does your house have to be in a flood zone to get flood insurance? What if part of the property is and the house isn't? I'm Darrell, I'm a lender. Let's talk about it. So, a lot of people think if the property is in a flood zone, I have to have flood insurance for my house. Well, that's not exactly true. It can mean you do, but it doesn't mean it. So, you can have the whole yard in a flood zone, and as long as the house itself is high enough that the house is out of the flood zone, you don't need flood insurance. And what you're looking for is you want to see flood zone X. X is the zone where nothing's required. You don't have to do anything. That means no flood insurance is required. So if your house itself is out of the flood zone and the property, the yard, is in the flood zone, you don't need flood insurance. Because who cares if the yard floods? It gets wet. Nothing happened. No damage done. But if the house floods, that's where the damage is done, and that's what the insurance is concerned about. I have a friend who bought a house, has 2 acres on it. The whole backyard is in the flood zone. But his house is raised up high enough, there's enough of a slope coming off the creek that's back in the back, that the house doesn't need flood insurance. He was concerned about it at first, but once they explained it to him, he said, oh, okay, no problem. The house isn't going to be flooded. It's not in the flood zone. So those are things to watch out for. Don't be worried if the yard is in a flood zone as long as the house is not.